Welcome to the Employee to Boss podcast, a podcast for everyone with an entrepreneurial spirit. Every week, I am joined by successful guests in all different industries and stages of business who will share what their experience was like transitioning from employee to boss. This is a resource for you if you're wanting to start a business, go all in on your side hustle, get to the next level in your thriving business, or just hear what it's like taking the leap to becoming your own boss. I'm your host, Hayleigh Hayhurst, the owner of Espresso Podcast Production, a full-service podcast production agency specializing in editing, marketing, and strategy. Let's dive into today's topic. Hey, Mia. Welcome to the Employee to Boss podcast. I am really excited to be talking all things balloons with you today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am so happy to be here and share a lot of good and new things with you.
Yeah, so we met at Alex and Layla Hermosi's acquisition.com event, and when I learned what you did, it was just so cool seeing all the different industries that were represented in that room. And even in your bio, your first line is, "I never imagined balloons would change my life," right? Like, it is such a cool path that you took down. So I'm really interested if you want to tell us more about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great introduction, by the way, because that's exactly how I feel. I feel like balloons really changed my life. And a lot of times when people think and talk about balloons, they feel like this is just a small thing. It's just balloons. We hear this all the time.
Mhm.
But sometimes these small things like balloons, if we really start seeing these things differently, they can really change our life. And that's what it did for me. I moved in US from Kosovo. Kosovo, if someone doesn't know, it's a small country in Europe, very young country, very close to Albania and Italy. And I have less than 4 years here in US. So when I came here, I had to start everything from scratch. I wasn't even fluent in English. So I really didn't know what to do, and I was just trying to do something with my life, because back home in Kosovo I had a very busy, hectic life. I was a high school teacher, and then I had a TV program in one of the TVs in Kosovo. So my life was like, it couldn't get busier than that. And then we decided to move here, and when I came here, it was like nothing at all, and I was trying to do something, and that's when balloons came up as an idea. I was seeing balloons around, and I thought, why don't I just give it a try? Because balloons seems like a fun idea, right?
So
It's
fun.
fun to work with them. So that's what we do. We do offer now. Of course, we at the time, when the time passed, now we offer a lot more than balloons. But that's how I started doing balloons for events. And now we do events, decorations with balloons and flowers, but also now we teach people how to do this.
That's really cool. I know. I love like balloon arches, and I feel like balloons really do make an event stand out. And
Yes.
I love that you were previously doing it for people, but have expanded to helping people do it themselves through the course. Before we get into all of that, though, I'm really interested to learn more about your journey from employee to boss. So you mentioned being a high school teacher. You mentioned having a TV channel. I'm curious, what was it about when you were over in Kosovo?
Yeah. So when I was in Kosovo, I was a high school teacher. I taught people how to speak English.
Cool.
But just so you know, these students didn't speak English, so it was easy for me.
Okay.
I wasn't very fluent in English too. We were just, it was like beginner's English.
Mhm.
And then during the pandemic, when everything got isolated, I just, for a week, I felt terrible as everyone, and unsafe and unsure what's happening around us. And then I had this idea of using my time with my family, because we were all together, my husband, my kids, for something, just to do something so we can pass the time. So I started a YouTube and Instagram account about showing people how to create different stuff so they can have an efficient time with their kids,
Mhm.
like creative stuff, crafting, for example, using spoons or things from the kitchen so they can do something nice, some painting, some stuff like that. And our ideas and our videos went viral in Kosovo. People wanted to know more. People wanted to know how to spend their time isolated in their house. So that's how we got our an offer from one of the TVs in Kosovo to do like a TV show. So it was me and my kids, all three of us, doing every week, twice a week, doing different kind of craftings, showing other parents how to pass their time. And also I had guests in the show. They were coming and doing things together, and it was fun. So that's what I did when I was there.
I love that. And then when did balloons come into play? Was that something you were teaching on the TV
No,
station?
no, not at all. I never did balloons in my life before this. I sometimes I laugh about it because I wasn't into balloons at all. Like
Mhm,
when I did my kids' birthday parties, the only thing I would do and I would kind of focus on was the cake.
mhm,
I wanted to make this really beautiful cake. I thought that's the most important. And actually, my sisters were the ones who were doing all these decorations and all those stuff. I didn't feel like that. I felt like I'm not creative enough to do those big decorations and balloons and stuff like that. That's how I felt. I never even tried. But when I came here, I like all of a sudden I wasn't doing anything. And it was so hard for me w- one minute to be so busy and with all the things going on around me, and another minute nothing at all. And I don't know, I think I saw balloons on some other pages. Other people were posting and saying, look what I did, I started a balloon business, stuff like that. And that's how I thought, okay, because since I was doing other craftings with my kids, I thought, okay, this seems very similar. And another I think was that you don't really need a lot of money to start this business. That was one of the biggest points, I believe, because when I
mhm,
came here, I didn't have any money. I didn't even have a house or a car or anything. I was living in my brother's house, actually. Um, and I was trying to do something and start something, but I didn't have any money to do it. So I was trying to find something that I can do for me and my family, but I don't need to, spend a lot of money on. And you can really start a balloon business with just a bag of balloons and a pump. That's all
mm,
you need. And of course, a desire to do something with your life. So
definitely.
that's how I started.
I love that. And you mentioned how balloons seem small, but you grew this huge business based on balloons. So, where else do you see this pop up in maybe people that you know that are entrepreneurs, or any advice to other entrepreneurs of like something that could seem small, but you yourself just said it, like it doesn't have to be that way. It could be as big as you dream it to be.
Yeah, exactly. You said it very well. One of my goals is just to show people that you can create something big with things that a lot of other people say it's small.
Mhm.
It's all about the mindset. It's all about how you see it. If you want to do something and everyone is saying, oh, you can't really do something with that, that doesn't mean you can't. It's all here. It's all here and here. If you feel it and if you think that I can do something with this, then just go for it. Just take that first step. That's all you need. Take that first step. And then as you do and try and fail and try and fail and try, you're going to get there.
Mhm.
The whole point is just, if you see something that you really like and you feel like maybe I can do this, you just need to take that step, and you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah, I love that. What were some of the steps that you took to starting your business? Was it hiring a coach, or like what are some of the resources you used?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was everything on my own because, as I said, I didn't have any money. So
Mhm.
I didn't have money to spend on coaches or trainings. And actually, there weren't a lot of people offering trainings back then because
Mm.
balloon industry is something that is getting bigger and bigger only after pandemic. Before pandemic, it was more, balloons were all the time, of course, but these organic big arches and balloons in any kind of events, even weddings, are more now after the pandemic. So this is kind of a new industry. So there weren't a lot of people teaching how to do this. So I started everything on my own, trying to learn everything where I could, like YouTube, Instagram, anywhere. But when you try to learn yourself something you never did before, it's hard to know, because there are some really small, simple stuff that you just don't know, and your life becomes so complicated
Right.
trying to do that over and over again. So everything, I was my first year, everything that I was doing was try and error.
Hmm.
After a year, I found some people who were offering, coaching and online classes. So I started doing that, and I saw that, okay, I am paying a little bit, I'm investing a little bit, but I'm getting so much more, because instead of trying and making so many mistakes, I'm learning it right away, the right way, and the outcome comes so much faster. So that's how I started doing all the classes. My next year was like, is there a class? I'm doing it. That's how it started. I was doing classes for everything, not only balloons, business, marketing, social media. And then I did also the Alex and her Layla's, where we
Right.
met.
Yeah.
That was the biggest, actually, that we did last year. But when I learned and I understood that if you really have someone to guide you is much easier, that's when I started doing all of these classes, because it was much, much easier for me.
Absolutely. And now you teach people how to
Yeah.
do that. So that makes a lot of sense that you put in the time to go to these events and learn maybe what they do and how they explain things. Because previously to that, to teaching people online, you were doing everything in person. Were you staying in New York doing everything, or were you traveling to different areas?
Everything was here in New York.
Yeah.
My first class actually was in New Jersey, which is like 40 minutes away. So everything is around me. It was around me.
Yeah.
I started doing in person classes. That was the first idea, after having so many people reaching out to me through DMs. Please teach us, because my job was getting bigger, and I was getting bigger jobs, events, doing bigger events and posting everything. So I had so many people asking me to teach them. And I was a teacher. I was a high school teacher for
Right.
more than
Yeah.
7 years. Teaching comes natural to me. So I thought, let's just start it. First, I started doing just one-on-one classes. And all of these students who were coming to me, they were so happy with everything they got. So I thought, okay, maybe we can do this in person. In the beginning, and every time you start something new, there are so many doubts, so many fears. What if this doesn't work out? What if I'm investing money and I'm not getting back the outcome? There are so many reasons, and then you compare yourself to other people. I was comparing myself to all of these coaches around me who I thought are better and bigger, just because I was seeing they have so many followers and years in this business. But I thought, you know what? I'm not going to make the same mistake as I did before. I'm just going to take a step and try it. So that's what I did. I did my first in person class, and I was expecting like 10, 15 people, the best. And 24 women joined me all around
Wow.
from US. It was just an eye opening, but an amazing experience for me. So we decided to do this almost every month, and we did 8 in-person classes last year in 2024.
That's amazing. And who attends? Is it like event planners, or like who is in the audience learning from you? Because they ultimately want to make money doing this as well.
Yes, of course. So usually it's people who wants to start a balloon business as a balloon artist, or people who already have a balloon business but they want to scale to premium jobs. Because sometimes people start doing these things, these decorations and balloon designs only for friends and family, and they're doing great and they're doing all for free, and they see a potential, and a lot of them start this as a high side hustle, so they don't have the
Mhm.
time to to do everything and search for everything on their own. So these kind of people came to me to learn everything, because I don't only teach how to do balloons, I teach how to do the business, because that's exactly what I felt is missing right now. When I first any business that you start, you're not going to do just that kind of thing that you're offering, right? The service or the product. There are so many more things involved: marketing, advertisement, business side, legal, everything. So a lot of people, when they start this business, they maybe are very good with balloons and they are very creative and everything they do is beautiful, but they are stuck to find clients. They are stuck to, they don't know how to talk to to people to close deals. So that's exactly what I was offering. So people would come and learn a lot about balloons. We would do these beautiful arches, different designs, all luxury. And then at the end, for 2 hours or more, we would sit and talk business. How to find those clients, how to close the deals, how to offer the best service that we can, and just get bigger and bigger every step. So I think that's one of the things that everyone wanted to learn how to grow.
So now that you've transitioned online and you get to work with people all over, what has that, opened up opportunities for?
So, because we were doing everything in person and people wanted to be part of our classes, all of our classes last year were sold out. And I had people come from Europe just
Mm,
to take the class. And I just felt like we need to do something so people don't have to pay for flying tickets and accommodations and all other expenses that were a lot higher than paying for my class. And then I had, as my videos went so viral, I had so many people overseas, all around the world, asking me to do classes. So I thought we need to do something that people can learn from their own house without having to, go and pay so much money for it. This was one reason. And the second was, I wanted to create something that people can go back over and over until they feel like they learned what they need. Because
yeah.
in person classes are amazing, but you are there for like 6 or 8 hours and then you're done. But when you have a video in front of you and you can just go back as many times as you want, so you can just repeat what you're trying to learn. So these were two reasons why we decided to go online. And I have a team of professionals helping me to do this. And the response was amazing. We have hundreds of people every week joining us and learning so much, because we are doing classes for free, teaching people how to do business, how to get clients, how to attract premium clients, how to close deals. So many gems that are amazing. And the feedback was great.
I love that. Congratulations. That's
Thank
so
you.
exciting. And I know there's a lot of creatives that listen to this podcast. So I know that they're definitely going to be checking out your work and more about your online courses and everything like that. So before we start wrapping up, I'd love to hear what's one thing that you wish more people knew about your industry.
I wish people knew that you can earn a lot of money with balloons.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I keep saying, even though I was new to this, everything, when I started this business, everything was new to me. I started from scratch. I started without any money, and I managed to earn six-figure income myself in my first year. And there are so many people in disbelief about this. But
Mm,
it's not only me, it's also my students. I have so many other people who are crashing this. So I just wish, when people think balloon business as a thing that they might do themselves, but they're still doubting if their investment, even though it's small, is still, if it's going to bring what they're thinking. I'm here to tell you, balloon business is amazing, especially for moms.
mm,
Because it's not only the financial side of this. business. It's also the time and everything that is bringing to me with my family. One of the things that I keep hearing from people, even when was in Kosovo, when I talked with Albanians who lived abroad, they would always say, "Oh, in US, in Canada, in other places, there's not a lot of time for your family because in order to have a good life, a comfortable life, you need to work at least two jobs, and then you don't have time to spend with your family because you're all the time working." And this is actually an amazing business because you can have a lot of time with your family and still make six figures income a year. But most, not most, like 99% of my events are on weekends. So from Monday to Friday, I spend some time prepping for the weekend, and then the rest is for my family. So I think this is one of the best things that this business offer, and I want people to know that.
I love that. Thanks so much for sharing that. This has been so fun. I just have one last question for you. It's the question I ask all of my guests when they're on this podcast is to share 3 action steps for the audience to take based on the conversation. So we talked a lot about being open to making money in a creative field, that it is valuable. We talked about positioning yourself and your journey. So the reason I ask this is because there's so many podcast episodes out there, so many places for people to learn from, and I think action is the most important thing to do after
Yes.
listening or absorbing anything. Just like we went to Alex and Layla's event, like it was great, but if we didn't put that into practice, it would just be a waste of money, right? Or a waste of time. So I'm curious, what would you like to challenge the audience with this week?
Okay, so first thing I would like them to do is, if there's something that they have been thinking a lot, but they never had the courage to take that first step, do it this week and do it now. And
Mm,
usually, when I have something that I really want to do, but I keep postponing it because of the fears, usually it's because of our doubts and our fears and all of those overthinking that we do, just do it in 24 hours, no more than that. And you are going to be so thankful you did that at that time. The second thing would be, if you decide to do that, give it everything. Don't start small, because starting small is just going to postpone what the ability to achieve so many big things. So if you decide to do this, do it with everything and just try to do it the right way. There are so many people who can guide you, and you don't have to do things alone. And the third thing would be, try to find people in the same industry that you're doing. It doesn't have to be the creative industry. Anything that you decide to do and you have been dreaming of, try to find people who already achieved what you are hoping to achieve and learn from them. That would be the easiest, fastest way to be where you want to be.
I love those. Thank you so much for sharing those. Mia, tell us more where we can learn more about you and where, the audience can attend your webinars.
So everyone can find us on all social media, but mostly we are focused on Instagram.
Mhm.
It's Balloon Thrill, my Instagram page. And then on my Instagram page, you can find the link to sign up for our weekly webinar. It's for free. You're going to learn so much from it. It's live. I also answer all of their questions at the end because I want really them to learn as much as possible in that time. And they can sign up for the webinar and just join me to learn more about this amazing business.
Perfect. I will put all of those links in the show notes. And for anyone listening after this goes live, you'll be able to find Mia's webinars and, just message her and chat about if the balloon business is right for you. I love this because there's just so much money in balloons, and
Yes.
that's just so amazing to see. I think a lot of us get stuck in like we have to be a service provider. We have to offer, something done for you to make money, or the creative world doesn't make money, that big myth. And I like how you are busting that.
Thank you so much. I really like to change this myth that people have, because I believe if you put your heart and your soul to something, you for sure are going to be successful no matter what you choose.
Well, thank you so much, Mia. I've loved this conversation.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Employee to Boss podcast. If you made it to the end of this episode, I hope that you implement the actionable steps from this week's experts so you can get started with your business today. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the Employee to Boss podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It helps more than you could ever imagine. Remember, a little progress each day leads to big results. We come out with a new episode every Tuesday. To access our show notes, transcripts, and courses, please check out espressopodcastproduction.com.